Choose myself and my friend there. So I'm JB Tan. I'm the one who emailed the group. I'm not sure. I think everyone's copied in the group. So I'm part of a group. We don't have an official name. We call ourselves as a volunteer group. We're still trying to figure out what's the right name for our organization. So our main objective is really to create a volunteer portal for the country. Okay, so that's the objective. On the side, I'm also a professional, so I'm working on Procter & Gamble. So I'm a system manager. My background is also IT. And Bell, you want to introduce yourself?
So I'm Bell, same office with JB. We used to know each other from college, so that's why we're linked together. So there's really no formal grouping. We're just friends of friends and friends with common desire to build something for the country. The idea actually come from last year during the Ondoy typhoon. People with the passion to volunteer. You will hear a lot of people wanting to go to relief centers, but they were turned down because there's already a lot of volunteers. While you also hear relief centers where there's no volunteer, right? So it shows that there is a passion in this country, especially with the youth, about volunteering, helping out, right? But at the same time, it also shows that there is a gap where people don't know, or there's no place to play, where to go, right? So the idea came from that. Early this year, I was given a chance to talk with Secretary Dinky Sulaiman. I brought up the idea, and she was really very supportive about the project. Now, the SWD has a volunteerism portal. I'm not sure if you're aware, but no one is aware, right? So even if people are very passionate about volunteerism, they are not aware of these things. So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other organizations out there, government, non-government, who has their own volunteerism portal, but people are not encouraged to join. Now, the main, probably, I think the main gap there is that it's not one-stop shop, right? So if you go to iVolunteer, or if you go to Hands On Manila, they will give you specific volunteerism activities. So it doesn't cater to all. At the same time, the biggest gap, one of the big gap that we're looking at is all the government agencies. They have their own resources. They invest on this and that, but they don't actually coordinate to each other. And if you have talked with different government agencies, we saw the lack of synergy. So they're actually wasting some of their resources and money if they're not joining. So we thought that the private individuals, private sector, especially the professionals, we think that the professionals have the know-how, right? They don't have the time, but they have the know-how. So if you can just make capacity, like 10% or 5% from each of these professionals who are willing to volunteer, then it could be big for the country. So that's the idea. Sorry if I took all the time.
Yeah, so that's a big idea. So to create basically a portal. Beyond the technological part, we're also having some different arm to create partnership with government, schools, NGOs, and all this to ensure that we have the balance between the technological part and the supply and demand part. So that's a big idea. So probably I'll just project a quick mock-up. This is just a mock-up, a PowerPoint-based mock-up. So this is what we're trying to achieve. It's basically a website with all opportunities, volunteerism opportunities posted there by different organizations, departments, all that. And if you want to come here, and if you want to volunteer, just think about, okay, I want to go to this site, whatever the name of the site is, and find my interest. Okay? So by the way, my objective for coming here is really, I was really overwhelmed when because how I got to know your Google groups is a friend of mine referred me. He's not part of this group, but he said that he has a friend who knows Ruby. Okay? And Topher being in our group as well, I didn't know that he was part of this team. Okay, so he asked me to email this Ruby group. I told him, will they respond to me if I if someone unknown, anonymous, asked them for something, he said that he's not sure. I got overwhelmed when I got so many replies. So my objective for emailing the group is really to get more volunteers, because currently only Topher knows Ruby within our team. So we have a very small development team. Not everyone's actually very technically adept. And so that's one. Aside from getting developers, if you want to volunteer on other areas like marketing, building the partnership with different organizations, NGOs, government, we also have that. We have a group doing fundraising for all this support. If we need to buy a server, if we need to create marketing materials, if we need to partner with media, so we have another arm doing that. So aside from looking for developers, if you are willing to volunteer for something else, then we have, I'm sure there's something that will interest you within the team. Okay, so I'll not go into the details of what this is and all of that, but if you have questions, I think I'll open the floor to any random questions.
So this is for the entire country, right?
Yes, that's the plan.
How many departments or organizations are we expecting to use the system?
So far we are on, ideally everyone,
So,
because we don't want each department to be investing on something that is already out there. Right? But for now, we have partnered with DSWD, PNVISCA, we've emailed DepEd,
And we're reaching out to the Office of Civil Defense for the relief, disaster relief. We're also looking at other big private or non-government groups. So it's still new. I think we just organized like 2 months ago.
Yep.
Yeah. So, by the way, this year is the International Volunteerism Year. And we're trying to launch something by December because it's the volunteerism month. So it fits. Yeah.
So we have to show them that we could do the project in less than 3 months. So that's why I chose Ruby.
So building from the previous speaker, right? He said that Ruby was a powerful tool, and he also challenges us to level up. So maybe this is one of the venues to level.
Yeah, actually, so if you have different skill levels, so we'll take that into consideration for the project. I mean, we can divide the projects into, of course, different tasks.
Topher, are you the lead on the project at
Um,
this point, or?
By default, I am because I was the only back-end developer.
Ah, well, for someone who's getting busy and trying to maybe get into this, it would be a great opportunity to work with you and learn a lot.
Yeah.
Good level of project.
Open up a GitHub account and
Yeah, I'll.
chip in.
Yeah, sure. Get,
How do you guys envision working on this? Is it we meet once a week and we code? Is it?
So we have a core team. So the core team is composed of a president. Bell is our president. So I'm the product leader. Tofi is our developer leader. So we have finance leaders, marketing leaders, HR leaders, and so on. So this core team meets every 2 weeks. So we have a milestone that we set every 2 weeks. Each individual team, which is for me, for my product team, I meet them every 2 weeks as well. We have set milestones. We don't plan to meet every week to just sit down and code. So we give it to we set milestones and just ensure that they are delivered.
I guess the question is for
the
for the newbie developer who wants to learn Rails through this project.
Well, yeah, I'm open to suggestions because before the email, I was the only developer for the project. So if we get a lot of developers, so we'll have to
Are you
set some.
using Cucumber?
Yeah, I just installed Cucumber on my prototype. So no features yet.
So maybe someone get involved on the cucumbers.
Yeah, actually, that would be good. We could divide it that way. I mean, somebody knows about testing.
So no pressure today. You don't have to sign up today. You can contact Topher if you're interested. You can also email me. You know my email. Mir here already volunteered without me a person. So if you want to volunteer on other areas, then that is very welcome. Okay.
So maybe some last words. The ideal scenario, the end state really is to develop that culture of volunteerism, right? So imagine having a date, right? And the first thing that comes to your mind is, why not have a date with your girlfriend or someone that you're courting, doing something beneficial for the country, right? Or I want to have a bonding in my office or with my family. Why not go to a orphanage, do something, right? So that's the end goal that we have in mind. And really, today, this year with the presidency of Noy Noy, with the advocacy to volunteerism, I think it's a good year. And then the volunteerism year this year is something that we can also leverage.
Okay. Any last questions?
So are we going to be focusing on a website, or are we going to try to create an API so that it's just not, it won't be just we're going to create a centralized API so that it won't be it won't be just the website. We could open it for, say, we could open it for mobile apps, we could open it for even a Facebook app, or in other words, we could let other users group pitch in, because at this point it's just the frog guys, which is not really you guys aren't a real group, we guys aren't a real group too, so what's the idea right now?
For now, we just have real websites. If Brian volunteers, we could make it.
Yeah, we discussed about having application as well in iPhone or on Android, but that's probably phase 2 of this project.
I guess the idea is to have that thing real by December,
Yep.
as you said.
So the bare minimum is matching facility. So there should be a meet up between the demand, the volunteerism demand from the government and non-government agencies, and the interest from the individuals with this skill set. So that's the idea. Yeah, that's it.
How do the organizations, and do they apply and do they go through a screening process?
For now, what we do is more on us pulling them. So we invite them, we send them a letter, and tell them about this plan. But in the future, that can be a possibility.
If I may
Sure.
pitch this to the group in terms of the developers, you'll get to learn HTML5 and CSS3. You'll get to work with Topher and Jumir.
Wait. Does this have to work in IE?
It
You
has
don't
to
have to
work
worry
in
about
IE.
that if you don't want to.
But that's not HTML5 and not CSS.
That's IE.
That's how the core team is going to do it, and it's a great opportunity to learn and work with these guys.
Redirect
So
people.
please volunteer and join me.
Get Firefox. Get Chrome.
These things called image maps.
Blinking in marquee. Blink.
Right, so contact Topher.
Good. Okay, just contact Topher. Thank you for this
Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah.